All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming, and I've gone through my code and I think I've at least found some of the errors. I'm not sure about all of them, but I found some of them. Start here. This public static void main has to be main. All right, that was the first thing. Let's see. Put a colon there instead of a semicolon. Fix that. Now, I called it here on open overlay, which is fine. Let's change it to that. But then down on the end, I have to call it the same thing, and I called it open overlay there. Oops, there you go. So that should fix that. In here, I added the height label and the weight label. Need height field and weight field here. Should fix that. All right, on the going all the way down to line 212 here. Notice I made these integers, but I also made them integer ints in the other one. All right, and really they should be integer. This is the class integer as opposed to the primitive type of variable int. So that's actually correct. But over here, well, let's look at that in just a bit. I don't see where I know it. The two were they were not in unison with one another. I think this should be a small s. We'll find out in a bit. All right. That needs a percent sign. Up here, I think I missed this one. What is it? That should be calculate. Finally, the swing utilities, provoke leader. main. I think I've got one too many parens here, and that's why this is red. There we go. So file, save all. I'm hoping I fixed everything from there. Now let's look at the state. So this, I think, should be an int, integer height. Notice how those errors went away. And this should be an integer as well. And now those errors are gone. All right, so that fixed those. Now, let's see, I've got here public string. I'm going to make this a small s. Doesn't like that. Okay, we'll change it back to the way it was. All right, let's do a file, save all. Let's go back to here. See if I've at least cut down the errors on here. There were 19 errors. Now, it's been a while since I've used this. In fact, I never used Visual Studio with this. I've always used a different editor, but since I've been using Visual Studio for everything else, that's why I thought I'd do it here. So, so we're back to main here. Again, there could still be errors, but my hope is there are not many. We had 19 before. Save that one more time. Save that one more time. Run. Run. Start debugging. Well, it says no problems. I got this error before, and I don't remember how I fixed it, but I did. Well, now it's giving me 24 errors. That's not good. Alrighty. Same thing. Print screen. Get rid of the other one. I think I did at least. Nope, I still have. Nope, that's a different thing. Alright. So I'm going to pause right here because I'm only 8 minutes in and try to figure out these errors. Alright, let's see if we can make this thing work now. Okay. This should just say public main. Notice all those errors went away. That's the first thing. And there were some things that weren't going to be flagged as errors because they were logic errors. So, line 223. Notice is valid height, and I passed in the weight. So that should be is valid weight. Right there. Okay, that's two things I found. Number 3. Okay, let's get that fixed. was something else I saw in here too. This should not be 18.0, it's 18.5. All right. And now the comment is correct. Jeez. Telling me here status is never used, but it is. It's there, etc. Let's see if I made it better. Now again, we had 9 errors. Oh my goodness. Boy, oh boy, no, I made it worse. Oh. Nine. These are all cannot find symbol. See, everywhere I'm using BMI state now, it doesn't find it. Oh. All right, I'm at 13. Let me pause again and try to get these errors looked at. All right, I looked through this, and there's only one problem I could see in here. It was on something I changed, then changed back again, then changed it again. Where is it? Find. All right, stop just a second. Sorry, we're so close. All right, I stopped it and started. I stopped it and started it again. It's giving me just this one error. Content. Non-static method calculate cannot be referenced from a static content. which says to me it doesn't like this line right here. So let's go over here. Well, see if I can just do it this way. This is how I solve a lot of these errors. Add static keyword to your method. Okay, let's try that. Now I'm getting errors here. So file, save all. Yeah. And I get the error. But that gives me the other error. Where is... I don't know. Thought it didn't like this. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I haven't debugged in a while. I'm trying to figure out what the problem is. Give me a second. I think what the problem here is I'm going to have to go back into my BMI state, and these that I made now, they're not static. They shouldn't be static because we're changing them. Well, putting static there screws this up. And I don't want to make those static, so I'm going to have to figure out what the problem is and get back to you. Sorry. Down to one error, really, by putting this as... I don't think that is right either. All right, I'll be back, I guess, with one last video in the series for this one. Sorry about that.